Hey, Shawn Clement here from the Richmond Hill Golf Learning Center. And yeah, I haven't been out for a while. I must apologize. It's been a crazy summer. It's Labor Day already of 2011. And we're going to do a couple of videos right here. And these are really important videos. I've been meaning to get these up for a while, so I appreciate your patience. Number one, I wanted to make sure that all of you understood that there is no such thing as a perfect swing. There is no such thing as an automatic swing, okay? Now, we may have thought about this in the 80s and the 70s, but when the 1990s occurred and we were able to see MRI images of the brain and study how the brain worked, we realized that the brain has to reformulate every single action from scratch. Doesn't matter what sport you're in, doesn't matter how many years you've been in that sport, every swing in your golf swing has to be reformulated from scratch. Let me explain. Let's say I've got a 7-iron in my hands. I've got a shot from the fairway versus a shot from the thick rough. Well, out of the thick rough, the sound is going to be different, the look is different, the release is going to feel different, the tone in the muscles is going to be different. And imagine now I have a wedge in my hands with the same or a 4-wood. So when I'm looking down at a 4-wood or a driver, the club head is much wider. I already hear a different sound. I already experience a different feel. So the brain's got to go in and get that particular vision, right? View, or part of the visual cortex, right? And it's going to go get that feel, and it's going to go get that sound, it's going to go get that tone, and there are limitless combinations of all of that depending on the shot that you have. However, you will notice that the more you practice, the more the brain is able to funnel that information more efficiently. I'll give you an example. So let's say I'm a baker and I'm going to bake a bunch of brownies, right? So I get my first brownie batch. I'm an apprentice. It's my first batch. I need my cookbook. I need to list my ingredients in front of me. I need all my measuring devices. And then here I go. Okay, I got my cocoa, and I got my flour, and I got my eggs and all that stuff. Put that all in there, pop it in the oven, out it comes. Now I'm on my 100th batch. Well, don't need measuring devices anymore. I can pretty much eyeball everything. But I still have to make sure that my oven's at the right temperature, my flour has been checked. I still need to put all the ingredients in one by one from scratch. But my efficiency in doing that, it takes me maybe a quarter of the time instead of, you know, all of the time it took for me to read through and check things out and all that stuff. So there is no such thing as an automatic swing. Take that out of your mind right now. Which means your routine and your focus is supremely important, all right? So I'm going to take a 7-iron shot right here, and the picture that I'm looking at, I got the wind behind me, the green, there's some trees on the left side of the green that pins right up against those trees, so I'm coming in with a draw. I'm not coming in with a fade. There's no fade on this shot. I'm going to hit the trees. So already my brain is seeing draw. It's going to start at the right-hand corner of the green. There's some cedar trees in the background there. I'm going to draw it back toward the flagstick, all right? So I've got my picture. I'm going to line up directly to the red flag. If you go to my Work in the Ball Part 3, you'll see my approach to the draw versus the fade. So I'm going to take dead aim at the red flag, play the ball here back in my stance, get behind the ball. Does this feel now that this setup matches that picture? I see so many of you get set up and you never look up. Well, why would you look up? Well, number one, I want to recall the picture. Number two, I want to make sure that that picture out there matches my setup in here. So yes, it feels like I'm lined up to the flag. My feet are parallel left to the flag, and it feels like if I play the ball back, get behind the ball, it feels like the swing is going to move the momentum a little bit to the right of the pin, which is what I want, right? I want to start the ball a little right and draw it back to the flagstick. I don't want to start it on the flag and draw it away from the flag. That would be a no-no. That's not a draw, right? That's a pull hook. So the picture matches the setup. Now I've got the job done what's left. This is super important. I recall the picture, and I recall the feel I need to deliver into that picture. One of my favorite is the hammer into the door frame, right? If I've got a door frame that I'm going through demolition style, the nail, the door frame, the release is out here. So I'm looking for a nice heavy release of that hammer in the direction of those cedar trees to the right of the pin, okay? So what does that feel like? Well, I know that when I use the weight of the hammer, I feel a nice pause, and I feel a heavy snap out there, not down there. So now, after I take my practice swing, all I got to do is recall the feel of that heavy release towards those cedar trees on the right-hand side of the green. I see the cedars. I feel the weight of my arm club unit. I allow the weight of the club to release my hands toward that cedar tree. Here we go. Oh, that's super. Started right at the cedars, drawn back, landed 1 foot left of the pin. Darn it, I pulled it. And it just sucked back a little bit. I'm about 8 feet left of the pin. I'm ecstatic with that. You notice where my divot is. So for those of you who get up to the ball, and yeah, you're thinking, yeah, Shawn, I know I want to go out there, but man, I got to make sure I hit the ball. No, you don't. The last thing you want to do is make sure of anything. You gotta let it go. The only chance you've got is to release it out there and see what happens. That's what I tell my students. I say, once you're set up, you see the picture, same picture, feel the weight of the arm club unit. What's it feel like when you deliver out into the picture? Oh yeah, it feels like that. So you deliver it out there and see what happens. If you go, yeah, got the picture, I know I need it, but I gotta make sure, that's when you'll deliver the club into the ground, hit it fat, thin, shank, you name it. So it's just that fear of missing or that fear of doing something wrong that's gonna put the whole kibosh, all bets are off on your golf swing, okay? So what you need to do is release a few out there. When you get to the range, the first thing I want you to do is release it out there, see what happens. If you top it, who cares? You know what the difference is between a flush shot and a top shot? Throw the top shot over your shoulder, go back to your picture, release it out there again. I guarantee you, if you top it again, it'll be less. And then it'll be thin. And then it'll be less thin. And then all of a sudden it's going to be flush. Give your brain a chance to figure out, your instincts, to figure out where to put the ball if you keep releasing out there. So from this moment forth, you guys, all of your releases are out there, carefree, and then observe what happens, see what happens to contact, and then keep going with that, and make sure it keeps on releasing out there, and you'll see how things materialize from there. You'll be on your way to some wonderful surprises. So I hope that helped, and we'll talk to you guys soon.